Okay, so I wanted to do a little get unready with me because, as you can see, I have my makeup on from earlier today, and I want to get unready and like take off my makeup and just talk to you guys for a little bit while I take off my makeup. I thought I'd share a little bit about like some of my thoughts recently because I don't know, I feel like sometimes I like get a little nervous about like sharing my thoughts for the day, or talking about what I'm going through in my life, or like talking about my struggles, because sometimes I feel like nobody, you know, asked or like cared and like, you know, sometimes I just feel like I'm like dumping onto people, and so sometimes I like really struggle with like talking about that. But I decided to share it because sometimes when I share something I'm going through or something I'm thinking of, it turns out somebody else also is thinking that or needs to hear it, and that kind of gives me a little bit of encouragement and peace knowing that I'm not alone, and also that somebody else needed to hear what I have learned, because maybe I can help somebody else out. And so yeah, let's just have a little discussion, shall we? Okay, so first off, I just want to say, like, don't ever compare your healing journey to somebody else's, because what I have learned is it's so easy to look at somebody else's life and like someone else who they could absolutely be going through a similar thing as you. For instance, let's take a breakup. You could be going through a breakup and you look at one of your friends who's also going through a breakup and you're thinking, wow, like they just look like they're fine, they don't look sad at all, like they're able to be friends with their ex, I'm not, you know, and you start comparing yourself, like, why is she or he okay and I'm not okay, and is there something wrong with me? And that's something that I've struggled with a lot, because I've never talked about this on the internet, but I went through a breakup recently in September, and it's currently January, and I'm still feeling the effects from the breakup. And so sometimes I look at my other friends who are going through breakups, and I'm like, dang, like, why does it look like it's easier for you? When in fact it's not. Just because it looks like on the outside somebody is not hurting and somebody's not sad does not mean that they are not sad and they're not hurting. Just because somebody's able to be friends with their ex and you're not doesn't mean it's any less painful for them as it is for you. It's not. Everybody's healing journey is different. Everybody's on a different timeline, and you know, it could take somebody 5 months to get over someone, and it could take another person 2 years. I mean, it's a long time, but what I've learned is that like your healing journey is different, but also your relationship is different. You didn't date the same person, and even if you did, your relationships were different because you're a different person. The length of your relationship will depend on how long your healing process is, what happened in the relationship, how did they treat you, what baggage did they leave you with, is there any guilt you're feeling from the relationship, like what have you learned, what do you need to work on now, like what have you learned about yourself. Those are all like things to like think about, and that also determines the length of your healing process. And I also don't think healing like stops. I think like, yes, you can like feel like you're fully healed from a situation or like from something that happened in your life, but like just because you don't feel the pain anymore doesn't mean like you stop healing, if that makes any sense. I don't know if any of that made sense, but yeah, healing is a journey. Don't compare yourself. Also, another thing I've never talked about on the internet was my relationship I went through was a toxic relationship, but it wasn't always toxic. In the beginning, it was great, like most relationships, and then it turned toxic. So there's a lot of things I've been dealing with from that relationship. There's a lot of baggage I now have because of that relationship that I'm trying to work through. I started going to therapy actually in the relationship towards the very end, when I noticed that the relationship was affecting my mental health, and it was affecting my happiness level, and I was just really sad all the time and had no energy, and I was getting really sick, and like there was just a lot of factors that went into it, and I didn't realize that it was caused by the relationship. And so I started going to therapy because I wanted to learn how to express my emotions, and not be scared of using my emotions, and also figure out why I was so sad and like why all of a sudden I was really depressed when I should be happy. And going to therapy like taught me a lot about like how to express my emotions and why am I feeling this, and it basically taught me that like basically the relationship was not making me happy, and sometimes like things that are just like not meant for you and like are dragging you down, like that all like can affect your mental health. Basically, therapy taught me a lot, and I learned a lot about myself through therapy. I'm still currently going to therapy, and I do recommend therapy to a lot of people. And don't be scared to go. Like, don't be that person that's like, oh, I don't need therapy, because for the longest time I was in there going, well, my life's pretty good and I'm a happy person and I don't really struggle with very much and I come from a good family and yada yada yada, and I've never been through like tragedy or whatever, so why do I need therapy? And basically, after I got past that and realized like it's okay to go to therapy and like get help for yourself, and not have to go through anything like that. Like, it's okay to just go to therapy and figure out more about yourself and why you're feeling the emotions that you're feeling. So never be scared to start therapy. You don't need something crazy to happen to you to start going to therapy. You can literally go to therapy right now and figure out what happened to yourself. And it's so healing and helpful and therapeutic, and like I love going to therapy. It's my favorite day of the week. But you don't need something like crazy to happen to go to therapy. Like, just go and learn about yourself. So therapy was one of the best decisions I made, but yeah, it was towards the end of my relationship, but thank goodness I started it when I did, because basically I started therapy on Monday and broke up with him on the Friday, and I was able to be in therapy like throughout the entire like process of like me processing the breakup and like the aftermath of it. But I'm so grateful I started therapy when I did, because if I did not start it then, I probably wouldn't have put myself into therapy and like started going to it while being sad. But it gave me someone to go and talk to that I knew would listen to me, and I didn't feel bad about talking about the breakup all the time to people and like my friends, even though like they didn't mind and they were like so incredibly helpful. Like, second of all, this is kind of a side note, but my friends were so incredible throughout the entire breakup, so incredible, and I love them so much, and I literally could not have gone through that without them. Like, they are the best people ever. Like, truly, I love them so much. And so between that and like going to therapy, that helped me so much. So if any of you guys are going through a similar thing, like a breakup or a friendship breakup or anything like that, surround yourself with a good group of friends and focus on things that you love and get invested and into things that you love, and put your time into something that just makes you happy and like gives you life and energy and like makes you excited to do stuff, and like get out of the house, go spend time with people. I had a whole thing with, after the breakup, I was so scared to be by myself. I did not want to be by myself, and so I constantly surrounded myself with people, which is really good, but also can be really bad. So as much as I say spend so much time with your friends and focus on them, also focus on yourself and like take time for yourself and just be by yourself, because it's okay to be by yourself. But yeah, just surround yourself with a good group of people and talk it into the ground. That's what one of my friends told me. She just said, talk it into the ground. Talk it into the ground. Tell everybody. Not like tell everybody your business, but like just share like how you're feeling that day. Be like, hey, look guys, I'm feeling sad and maybe I don't want to go out today, you know? Like, just say that, and that's so helpful. So yeah, surround yourself with a really good group of people who get you and are here for you and like care about you, because it's so helpful. And yeah, I literally could not have done it without my friends. Another thing that I learned is that I think you can love somebody and care about them as a human being and like truly still care for them and love them so much, but also know that they are not meant for you. They are not your person, and being with them is just kind of dragging you down and affecting you in a negative way, and that relationship was affecting you in a negative way, and it wasn't serving you and making you happy. It was doing the opposite. And so I think it's okay to look at them separately and go, I love you as a person, and I care about you, and I care about your well-being, and like I still pray for you, and like I care about you, and I hope that you're healing, and I hope that you're well, and like truly hope that you're well. But also I personally can never be with you again. I can't be with you. I don't love you like that. I love you, but I don't love you in a romantic sense. I just love you and like I care about you as a human. And I think that's totally normal. I think that's okay. It's okay to recognize like, hey, we're not meant to be, you hurt me, we're not good together, but I still love you and I still care about you, but I would never get back with you. And that's totally normal, and I think that's like a healthy mindset to be in. And so that's something I've been learning, is like it's totally normal to be like that. And the two can be separated, and I think that's very normal. But yeah, I would say that's something I have definitely been learning. Another thing is trying to face the hard parts, like the hard reality of it. The reality is, when you go through a breakup, that person is going to be happy without you eventually. Like it hurts to hear, but eventually, like, they will be happy without you, and they probably will get into another relationship, and that's okay. That's normal. It's okay for them to be happy. Like, I know sometimes it's easier to be like, well, they hurt me, I want them to never be happy again. Okay, but they will. So suck it up, I guess. But no, it hurts. But also to know, like, just because you weren't meant for them doesn't mean that someone else down the road, like, won't be. You know what I mean? Like, somebody else down the road might be exactly what they need, and he gives them exactly what they need, and, you know, they give him exactly what, like, he needs, and they just fit really well. And that's totally okay, right? Just like you are going to find someone else that gives you everything you're looking for, and you give them everything that they're looking for. It's okay to recognize that you two just couldn't give each other what you needed, and you just weren't totally meant for each other, and that's okay. But hey, down the road, somebody else might, and that's okay. And it is a hard reality to sit with, but at the end of the day, like, that's gonna happen, because as much as you want that to happen for you, they also want that to happen for themselves. So it's gonna happen one day, and it sucks. But anyways, as much as it sucks, it's just a reality that if you come to terms with and you come to peace with, it won't hurt as much. Another thing that I've been learning is I've been trying to shift my mindset, and I think that's part of healing, is shifting your mindset to be a mindset of gratitude. I think if we look at the world with a grateful heart, and we are thankful and grateful for everything that happens to us, even bad things, we're just a lot happier, and it's easier to forgive. Because I could look at a situation I went through and, you know, be like, oh, how did this happen to me? Like, I hate that this happened to me, and I'm so mad, and they're a horrible person, and the relationship sucked, and, like, look at all the stuff I've gone through, and yada yada yada, right? But instead, I can look at it with a positive outlook on it, because number one, I literally cannot change what happened. I can never go back and change what happened. So what do I do with that? I have to learn how to live with it. And so what I do is I look at what happened, and I go, you know what, this sucks. It hurt me, but it wasn't all bad. In the beginning, I'm very thankful for the really good times I had with this person. I'm thankful that they brought this into my life. They introduced me to this. I got to experience this with them, and they were a blessing for this time in my life. Eventually, things got bad. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't healthy for me anymore. But I'm thankful for it, and I'm thankful that they put me through that, because if they hadn't, I might have spent way longer with them than I did, and then I could have just dragged it out and then been even more hurt in the end. And I'm also grateful because it allowed me to learn more about myself. It allowed me to go to therapy, dig deeper, right? It allowed me to learn about boundaries and learn about, like, what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do, and what I believe and what I'm not willing to believe. And, like, you know, it taught me about, like, what I want in a relationship, like, what do I want in my next relationship, and, like, communication, and, like, all of the above, right? So choosing to switch your mindset and looking at a relationship, like a failed relationship, or anything negative that happened in your life, and go, what good came out of this, right? Like, did anything good come out of this? was I able to help anybody with what I went through? Because now that you've gone through it, anyone else that has gone through or is going through a similar situation, can you help them, right? And also, like, what have I learned from this? And then also looking at it as, I'm just so grateful that I was able to even be in a relationship, right? I'm grateful that for a period of time I was able to be in that, even if it sucked. Anyways, with all that being said, I have officially taken off all of my makeup, and now I'm gonna go and I'll probably edit and do some stuff before I get more ready for bed. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this little like talk. I don't know, I feel like this is kind of like a big sister talk, but also like literally anybody that's like going through something similar, hopefully this helped or resonated with you. But yeah, let me know if I should do more like deeper talks while I get unready or while I get ready for the day.